want to know, why did you decide first to do the European premiere of Illmatic movie in Paris?
Well, first we want to thank the Paris Hip Hop Festival for offering to show the film. It really was the first time we had the opportunity to show the film. It really launches in October, but because the festival came up earlier and Nas is performing, we felt that the festival had integrity, and they gave us a chance to really show it to an independent film audience, and that's what we wanted.
And how did you guys, Eric, One9, how did you guys meet each other?
We met each other many years ago. One9 was working as a graphic designer. That's what it was, right? In production. And I was doing the fellowship, and we met each other then. It was so many years ago. We both had no idea that one day we'd produce a documentary together.
But no, it's 10 years ago. It's kind of where I met Eric, really, about that time, and he could tell you how the project started. But why we chose Illmatic was that album resonates with us from a hip-hop perspective, from a cultural perspective. Say that again. That album resonates with us from a hip-hop perspective, a cultural perspective. It translated time with us. That album really hit us in a way that no other album has. We both feel like that is our favorite of all-time hip-hop album, and Eric's favorite all-time album in general. But we wanted to do something that gave that film justice, and it's our first film, and we really want to thank Nas for giving us a chance to make this film. But Eric can tell you how we got started.
Maybe that 10-year. You asked about the 10-year. Well, we decided to do 10 years, and it wound up being 20. I was a journalist at the time, doing music journalism, covering, I worked at Vibe magazine, and I was working on a story on Illmatic's 10-year anniversary. And outside of the story, which was going to be in print, there was an opportunity to do something much bigger in video, movie, documentary, something, DVD as it were at the time, 10 years ago. So I got in contact with One9, who I knew would be a great visual person who could help tell the story visually, and who knew how to work in production and a lot of experience in that as an artist. And so we got together and we just started shooting. So 10 years ago, we thought we would just hurry up and put out and shoot everything we needed and then have it done in time for the 10-year anniversary. But of course, it takes much longer than that. So 20 years, anniversary, 10 years later, and here we are.
Okay. And I want to know, for you, what is the impact, the legacy that the Illmatic album has on the hip-hop today, on the hip-hop community?
I think that album stands really at the very top for us personally, as far as legacy, because like some of the things we said, every track on there felt like it had a connection, it had powerful lyrics, and the music, we can't forget the music with DJ Premier and Pete Rock, Large Professor, AZ, Q-Tip, LES. They brought a sonic sound that resonates. And really, if you were to say one album that really resonates over the course of time, that influenced so many people, it's Illmatic. Personally, to this day, we still listen to it outside of the movie, and I think it just resonates in the streets. And anytime you bring something very raw, honest, and gritty, that reflects a greater whole than just the music, it embodies the culture, embodies struggle, embodies pain, death, violence, drugs, guns, everything that he grew up with. And on top of that, it's the most honest album for us. And I think that's why for most people it resonates to them as a legacy piece.
Okay. You want something to add?
Well, I think part of it, its legacy and its lasting, what makes it endure so long is because the poetry of Illmatic, not just was it poetry for poetry's sake, but he was capturing a moment in time. He was capturing the life of a people who existed at that time, and he kind of summed up and gave a voice to people who didn't have a voice and when he was coming of age in Queensbridge, 1994, and it represented so many people across the globe, not just Queensbridge, and that's what makes it last. That's the enduring legacy. Great art gets bigger over time, not shrinks, and it continues to have more depth, more layers, more converts over time, which is a testament to the honesty that he had at that when he first started.
Did you come from Queensbridge also?
No,
not at all?
No, that's the thing. We both didn't come from Queensbridge. And like so many fans or people who looked at Illmatic and said, he's speaking for me, you know, even though I'm not from the exact same Queensbridge. His story was he looked out of the windows of Queensbridge, but he explained what was going on across the world. So, I mean, it connected to people everywhere.
And what he was doing lyrically spoke in a way that spoke to everybody, no matter where you're from. Here in France, Illmatic speaks to you, totally different language, but hip-hop is that global language that breaks down barriers, that, you know, makes people look at it like a survival tool. And Illmatic is that survival tool for people growing up in the hip-hop generation and outside of it as well. It's what Marvin Gaye did with what's going on. He reflected a moment, a time of culture that really brought people's spirits up, and Illmatic did it in the rawest, grimiest way, but it also resonates on a musicality level that is second to none. Hip-hop really changed my life, you could say. I grew up as a street artist, a graffiti artist, and it gave me a way of looking at the world outside of what was normal, considered standard. It helped me in school. It changed the way I approached school. I actually started doing graffiti on clothes, jeans and jean jackets. It made me into an entrepreneur. It got me into the arts, got me into film. It really was the vehicle that took me to become, gave me a vision to how to create and to be really a voice in the culture.
Back in the movie, I want to know what difficulties did you have on creating this project, because it's a big project. I saw that you had some help from the Ford Foundation, yeah, the foundation, and also Tribeca All Access. There was maybe financial problem because it's really something big to follow NAS, to have everything, the cameras and stuff. And what other difficulties did you have?
Well, even to address what you were saying, that comes down to money. End of the day, and Eric and I are first-time filmmakers. We've never made a movie before in our life, and we were doing it out of pocket, out of love, out of something that we wanted to complete. And I think anytime you have a support group such as the Ford Foundation, but even more so, the director of the Ford Foundation we should mention is Orlando Bagwell, and he's a prominent leader in the film community, the underground film community, that he created Eyes on the Prize, which is a legendary documentary, and he really gave us an opportunity. You know, we didn't even apply. Basically, the trailer went out to some friends, and it got to him, and he gave us a call and said, you know, this is something I want to help you with. And I think it's important to have people outside of your immediate circle who believes in your vision, and I think that's really important outside of hip-hop, to have someone, you know, who controls grants, someone like Yannick, who runs the film festival, someone who has a vision, someone like yourself who controls the blog and media and information, that has an understanding of what the culture is all about. And I think that's was our hardest obstacle, was to make those connections, find the resources to make the film. And once that happened, it was just a matter of execution, but we were able, I think, really to put it together with a strong team.
Yeah, the difficulties financially for most filmmakers, you know, they'll all tell you financial difficulties can make or break a project. But the way to overcome that is we worked on this film from the beginning with no money. So when people believed in our vision, like Orlando, which One9 just talked about, Orlando Bagwell was really instrumental, and some people at Tribeca Film Institute, and who really believed in our vision. It was after we believed in it first, and we had to work hard with nothing before anybody would look at it and say, you know, we can help you with this. You know, a lot of times, You know, vision is, you have to bring it to fruition for somebody else to see it, you know, to some degree. And I think the hardest part really, it isn't really the money part necessarily, but it's having your vision, being able to translate that to somebody who's in a position to help you, you know. Getting that money is it's so helpful, and we need it, we all need it. But getting that, but conveying that vision is the most important part. I think not just even in hip hop, what we wanted to do is we looked at the album and we wanted to create something that was worthy of the genius of that album, worthy of the importance and the weight and heaviness and the complex layers that that album spoke on. So one of the things we wanted to do is show not just Nas as an artist, as a rapper, but everything that influenced the creation of Illmatic. Not just the person in the studio, but what happened before he got to the studio that made him, enabled him to create what he saw. So we wanted to show the differences between the community that he came from and how he was able to do something to express himself, and maybe others were not, but he just is one of many who comes from a community. So we wanted to give the world and even people in hip hop a chance to look at each other and look at people who came up under those circumstances. We wanted to give them a chance to look at it and view those people, those young kids, those boys who were in the neighborhood with Nas, and to say one of them has become Nas. What could have happened to the others if they were given a chance? That's one of the main messages we want people to take away from the film.
It's important to really elevate the culture. Like, Illmatic changed the game. When that came out, that changed the way people were rhyming. It changed some of the biggest names in hip hop were affected by that album. What we wanted to also, what Eric alluded to also, was we wanted to make a film that can not only change the way people view their environment, but also use it as a film that really looks at the conditions, the dropout rate, the jail systems. This is what's going on, not just in America, but across the globe. We look at the family being torn apart. These are all issues that affected Nas as a child and continue to affect kids today. We wanted to raise awareness also with this film without preaching it, just by showing it through its true and honest storytelling. And I felt like this film is a tool for other people to look at, so they can learn, you know, how a culture is formed, how people can raise their strengths and their abilities by finding out more about who they are, who their family is. That's one of the main things we wanted to do with this film. Without preaching it, it is what it is. But it was a set angle that Eric and I eventually took a large, amount of interviews and condensed it down to just a core pieces that made sense and really, told the honest truth.
Okay, and this is my last question. You said that it was your first video project. Is there another one, something else you want to do? You want to work together again on another video project, another documentary?
Eric brought a good point. Is this project was something we had so much passion to do. We were gonna finish it one way or the other. It was gonna happen. And that's what we have to find right now, is what feels right, And we're at the moment, the paint is still wet on this film, so it's still like, we haven't even gotten out there yet, so we're still pushing this film right now. We haven't, honestly, I don't know yet. It's hard to answer, I don't know.
Yeah, that's it, I agree, same answer. I mean, took us 10 years from the beginning of this to the end. I mean, we picked it up and put it down. So we had no idea it would take that long. Now that you know a project could take that long, you'll choose very carefully. You'll choose very carefully.
Yeah, that's true. And I had a couple questions for you, if you don't mind.
No.
So for you, two things. One, as a girl that didn't grow up listening to Illmatic, what did the film do to you afterwards? Like, what were you able to learn or take away from it?
Well, I didn't grow up with Illmatic because I was young, like 94, but I'm a hip hop dancer, so I grew up in the hip hop community. And for me, when I saw the movie, it was like, okay, when you want something and you work out for it, you can have it, like, and change your life like Nas did, and with the Harvard scholarship, fellowship, and everything. That if you want something and you work out for it, you can have it. And as from this point of view, I really liked it, and yeah, it say that everything is possible. And with hip hop, you can do so many things. When you have connection, when you have faith, you can do it. And this is what I felt when I saw it.
And why do you think Illmatic resonates here in Paris, in France? Why do you think people love it?
Because it's really genuine, authentic. I don't know how to say. You understand?
Yeah, that's good. Right.
And,
it's both. Yeah.
And in France, they like genuine rap, you know. And they really like Nas in France. We really like Nas because he's an authentic artist, and he hasn't changed. His years. He's always the same since 1991. From now, he's still the same. His music is. I went to so many concerts of him. I saw him many times, and I like all of his albums.
But thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
This is Groovy Brain. Groovy Brain, we're coming.
Yeah, yeah.
This time is Illmatic. This is One9. This is Eric Parker. This is Estelle. This is how we get down in Paris.
Groovy Brain.